Big things to come, that is for sure.
Anyway,
and here we go
to the men's class.
Our men's under 80 kilo class. In lane 1, Tony McNavish of the USA. Lane number 2, Jacob Fisher of the USA. And lane number 3, Dean McVie of Scotland.
Dean is a fantastic overhead lifter again. Someone that loves a log press, a Viking press, a dumbbell, anything overhead, Dean loves.
I know Tony McNavish personally. He is a Texas athlete. He goes by the alias the Texas Russian, or the Texan Russian. And he is very strong, almost very ballistic at times. But this high weight Viking press, 265 pounds, 120 kilograms. This is well in excess of these athletes' body weights. I believe the athletes, this is almost 100 pounds over their body weight.
This is
incredible.
This is a huge weight. I was talking to Tony on the weekend. He seems to enjoy like the Conan's wheel type events, the stone carrying events. He was really, very, very keen to tell me how good he was at those events.
Tony has the Texas state record for the Conan's wheel that he set at one of my contests, and he is very proud of that effort. But
what a performance there by
Dean McVie. Was that 15 repetitions on the board for him? Tony with 1 and Jacob with 7. All right, our second heat in our men's under 80 class. Bernard Gorvit of the USA in lane 1, Danny Ashcroft of England in lane 2, Joe Daglish of England in lane 3, and Stephen Wiley of Scotland in lane 4.
Well, I know Joe, he's a fantastic deadlifter, very long arms, which isn't necessarily the best for a Viking press, so we'll have to see if he can maximize that leg power to overcome those leverage disadvantages he has.
He is one of the world's strongest twins, correct?
He is indeed, yes.
Incredible power. Let's see how I know he is a great deadlifter, like you said. I'm curious to see how he plays here on the Viking press.
He's maximizing that leg power that he's got. You can see already, though, it's getting tough. Ashcroft in lane number 2, looking very solid. And our other two athletes.
See Stephen Wiley taking a pause there to cheer on his athletes.
That was close for Gorvit there.
Gorvit has almost drawn himself to a meditative state.
He needs to really focus on that leg drive. He wasn't far away. It wasn't like it's not got a chance. He just needs to maximize leg drive. Come on.
So close.
It's almost as if he's kind of giving up when it gets to that point. He needs to fight that little bit harder at the lockout. A tiny bit more leg drive and he may get 1 rep. And now the energy's starting to zap from him.
It's starting to zap, and I think, he set his pick with a very low angle, so he did want to use that leg drive.
Yeah.
I think he's going to take notes from his performance here and get back to the drawing board and really work on.
He's really not far away.
He's not, but I can tell from a hardened athlete that made it to this stage, he's going to go back to training and really work on some shoulder and tricep power.
It can be disheartening when you kind of get under there and you're not even close, but very, very small percentages. He'll come back next year and maybe get 5-6 reps. He's really not too far away from, being able to be reasonably competitive on that event.
The one thing about this Viking press is that every Viking press apparatus, not here at this competition, but every Viking press apparatus around the world is different. So the athlete might be training on one Viking press that has X amount of length to that lever versus what they have here, and they get here under this weight, and it just feels so different, and it might catch them off guard.
Such a point to make. It's a bit like a leg press, isn't it? It's not like a squat where the weight is universal. Every single machine that you use, depending on the height and the length of the machine, all vary, and where the weight is added as well.
Finlay Mercer of Scotland, lane 1. Alec Patron of USA in lane 2. David Dunlap of USA in lane 3. And in lane number 4, Lewis Blackwood of England.
Blackwood working hard there for that 4th rep.
I always like taking notes of what the athletes are using as footwear here. I see 3 athletes wearing Olympic weightlifting shoes with the raised heel, and an athlete in lane number 3 wearing barefoot shoes, a very flat heel.
What would you choose in this setup?
With us facing away, I would not want to have the raised heel.
I agree. If it was facing the machine, I would go for the heel.
Exactly.
Whereas facing away, I'd probably go for something more flat.
Yeah, so I think the strategy of wearing a flat type shoe would be best here, just because of the angle of the apparatus. But
I will also say, facing out from the machine tends to suit the stronger pressers. Whereas facing the machine tends to suit the guys or the women that have better leg drive and a bit more explosive.
And I would almost go so far to say that facing towards the machine would use a little bit more back strength, so in terms of like spinal strength. So the athletes that are good deadlifters might fare well if they were facing forward.
Yeah, I always
it.
preferred a Viking press facing the machine.
Same here.
I could utilize my strength more, whereas facing away with a shoulder impingement as well, I didn't like it so much.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Okay, so we're moving on to our next heat. Our heat number 4, I'm sorry. Mathieu Beauvois of France, another French athlete. Lane number 2, Jean Rivera of USA. Lane number 3, Robert Youngerman of USA. And lane number 4, Brendan Eberle of Canada. Lane 3, fighting for that lockout on his second rep. Beauvois looking cool and collected as he sturdily powers through those reps. Lots of shoulder and tricep power here. But every athlete is going to be hard-pressed to beat Dean McVie with 15 reps.
What a first man to go out there and perform with 15. That is a target to beat.
7 reps in lane number 4 by Eberle of Canada. And he's got the power to get that 8th repetition.
French athlete there doing very, very well.
You know, Laz, those reps that you get right before that whistle goes are some of the most satisfying reps you can ever have in your life.
When you time it right and you get it, yeah.
When you hear them say 5 seconds left, you can just power through and feel that lockout before the whistle goes. It's such a satisfying feeling.
Oh, the difference between getting it in the time and getting out of the time, yes, it's huge.
Yeah. It's almost like in basketball, that game-winning shot right as the whistle blows. Same sort of feeling there. Heat 5, Benjamin Donin of France, another French athlete. In lane 2, Joshua Dargis of USA. In lane 3, Kwan-Sik Yun of South Korea. And lane number 4, Josh Harper of the USA. It's good to see representation from South Korea as well.
Yeah, so good to see. Donin in lane 1 looking very solid.
As is lane 4, but lane 1 is just powering away. Just got his 7th rep.
Every athlete managing a rep so far. This is good.
Harper really fighting for that 6th repetition there. 30 seconds left on our time clock. Can Donin get to double digits?
He's on 9. Take it. 10 seconds remaining. Three, 2, 1. And did he get that 10th rep? We will find out officially for you, but very solid performance there by Donin.
We're seeing it counted on the scoreboard right now, but this is unofficial until we get everything verified. Heat number 6, Mario Conejeros of Chile. Sonny Nash in lane 2 of England. Johnny Rautiainen of Finland in lane number 3. And in lane number 4, Joel Creighton Ulster of Australia. I got to speak to Joel from Australia before the contest started, and he is just so fired up and jazzed to be here. He's a tall athlete, but he is ready to just immerse himself in being in the company of the world's strongest.
We've got an athlete missing.
Our Chilean athlete, Mario, is not on the field. I know I saw Manuel Angulo from Chile walking around earlier.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Hopefully Mario is around
yesterday.
here.
They are not going to wait for anyone.
All right, and they're off without Mario.
Oh, he's coming. Here we
There
go.
he is.
He's here. He's lost a few seconds, but it shouldn't matter too much. And gets the down signal.
That was, he had to earn that down command right there, I tell you what.
A lot of these under 80 kilo athletes are struggling with this 120 kilo Viking press. And let's remind ourselves, Dean McVie is our current leader with 15 repetitions.
That is an intense amount of volume to cram into 1 minute at 265 pounds, 120 kilograms. And Joel there in lane 4, just all smiles, happy to be here.
Very tall athlete to be under 80 kilos. I'm sure we're going to see some impressive things from him in some of the more athletic type events.
Absolutely. He traveled a long way to get here, all the way from Australia. I think he told me that was a 20-hour plane flight. And I told him to feel a little bit of comfort in knowing that I drove 20 hours to get here. So there's that. Okay, our 7th heat in our men's under 80 category. Ross Manarez of the USA in lane 1. Dylan Thompson of USA in lane 2. Quinn Romasco of USA in lane 3. And Richard Stout of the USA in lane 4. Richard Stout is a veteran athlete, another one who has been competing at every big national platform since I started competing. And I believe he's had the same pair of shorts ever since then as well. There must be something to it.
Dylan Thompson, another one of my athletes. He's been working hard, wants to prove he's one of the best under 80 kilo athletes on the planet.
Well, he is just banging out reps there.
He's one of those athletes that just keeps quiet but works really hard.
And Richard Stout just matched him with both for 6.
You've got to love those shorts of Richard. And the elbow sleeves as well. They look nice and colorful.
He has had that same competitive outfit.
What, 6,
as long as I've known
4 and 1 repetitions so far. Come on, Dylan. Good man. He gets that 7th rep. That's big.
As does Stout.
Good performance for both these athletes. One more repetition could be huge in terms of the overall. Can they both time an extra rep?
10 seconds remain.
They're waiting for the... Here we go. Oh, did he get that? That was a quick down signal. I think the referee might have given it him.
Looks like he got it.
Yeah.
We'll verify that officially when the scores are posted on the screen.
We will bring you all the official results as soon as we have them.
But Thompson looked like he really bided his energy quite well there.
He's a smart athlete. He's someone that kind of thinks about, he knows Viking press isn't his best event. He's under no delusion that he's not going to beat the likes of Dean McVie. Just trying to maximize the amount of reps he can get within that 60-second time limit.
Heat number 8, Mads Even Bjorheim of Norway. Lane number 2, Josh Kowalewski of USA. Lane number 3, the defending champion, Richard Pangyangaban of USA. And lane number 4, Rafael Paredes of USA.
Pangyangaban was fantastic last year. Let's keep our eyes on him this year.
He cut the hair from last year.
I know, I'm disappointed, but he has not cut the performance. Look at this. He has trained hard and means business.
As much as people like to joke about strength being in the hair of a long-haired individual, it is not the case.
It's not affecting him in the slightest here, is it?
Not at all.
Would you ever cut your hair?
I actually want to cut my hair. I'm
Really?
on the verge, but there's too many people don't want me to cut my hair, so I'm kind of...
We need to do it for a good cause, maybe some charity cause to...
I think so too.
To cut the sacred hair of the Texas.
The Texas heat is not forgiving with long hair. I will tell you that. But lane number 2 has 13 reps. He is 2 reps away from matching Dean McVie with 15, and Pangyangaban at 10 reps, getting his 11th.
14 reps there. Look at this. This is impressive. One more to go into the lead, and he gets
Our
it.
new leader.
Kowalski.
Josh.
16 repetitions.
Wow.
Wow.
He's happy about that, as I would be too.
I think so.
That's tremendous.
Good points there for the defending champion. But that was all about Josh Kowalski from the USA. 16 repetitions and our new leader in this event.
Heat number 9, it's a USA field. Jason Titelbaum, lane 1. Lane 2, Nicholas Gagnon. Lane 3, Cody Abel. And lane 4, Tommy Lavelle. Some strong athletes here. I know Tommy is quite a tried and proven champion before. He is going to make some strength waves here.
Yeah, very good all-round athlete, Tommy. Looking forward to seeing him perform again this year.
As is Nicholas Gagnon. He is another powerhouse of an athlete. All these athletes slamming away reps.
These under 80 kilo guys are so impressive. You think we walk around as like light super heavies around the 140 kilo mark, you know, we're double the size of these guys, and they do some impressive stuff.
It's amazing. So inspiring and motivating to watch them operate.
What's your body weight at these days?
I'm floating right about 315 pounds. So what is that in kilos?
A little bit more than the 140 kilos.
Yeah, right around there. When it comes time to compete again, I'll go back up to about 320, 325. 15 seconds. And what about you? You're looking svelte and
I'm
trim.
down to I can't remember this being this light as an adult, but I'm down to about 280.
Looking very good and beach ready, my friend. All right, we've got double digits on lane number 2 there by Gagnon. Tommy Lavelle seemed to exhaust himself a little bit right after that 4th rep. Don't know what happened there, but I'm sure he's a
very explosive athlete, and sometimes when you're that explosive, you just burn out quickly.
Yeah.
Still, good points there for Tommy. Pressing has never been his favorite event. He's more of an athlete, good at the kind of dynamic moving speed events.
Our final heat in the under 80 category. Robert Hughes in lane 1, Mason Cupp in lane 2, CJ Kraus in lane 3, and Nathan Jones in lane 4. This is a USA field, and I will call your attention to lane number 3, my athlete, CJ Kraus, the Giant Slayer, wearing shades.
I love watching CJ, a great athlete. And has he got face paint on as well?
He's got a Deadpool face paint looking like he's got going on there.
And look at this, lane number 1, Hughes looking very solid.
Hughes and
Kraus. These are the 2 lanes to watch. Jones with a solid 4 reps, but so far, Kraus 9 reps, Hughes on 8 reps.
They're biding their energy. They're going to have to operate to catch up to that 16 reps by Kowalewski.
I don't think anyone's touching that, but it's all about gaining those points for the competition. Kraus hits double figures, but Hughes is on 11. He sneaked ahead.
10 seconds left.
12 repetitions for Hughes. Very, very good performance.
3, 2, 1.
There we go.
Strong work.
Good finish to our final heat in the under 80 kilo men's class.
2 athletes walking away with double digits in that heat, but Josh Kowalewski of USA with 16 repetitions, barely inching out Dean McVie of Scotland with his 15 reps in that first heat.
Those 2 really phenomenal.
Wow. And it's quite impressive to watch an athlete in the very early heats play so highly like Dean just did. You know, really setting the pace and putting the pressure on everyone that's yet to come. All right. Our next round of athletes will be our men's masters over 50 division. They will be doing 265 pounds, 120 kilograms, the same weight on the Viking press.
And I've been looking forward to this class because we have 2 legends of the sport competing in Mark Felix and Nick Best.
And looking down the roster, they're both in the same heat, so we'll get to see some
the
really
really
good stuff.
interesting thing with Nick and Mark is they have very similar strengths and weaknesses. So we could have a real battle on our hands between these 2. There's other fantastic athletes. I mean, Chad Coy, someone who's been in the sport for a long time. He could cause them problems on certain events.
Chad is almost like a Master Yoda type of individual. He is a very, very strong veteran and knowledgeable athlete to the sport, and someone who I look up to as always imparting good wisdom to me and anyone else who is lucky enough and fortunate to talk to him.
These Masters classes have really evolved as well. Originally, it was kind of like more new people would enter, but now the Masters, they're a competitive class. And I was talking to Nick, you know, now that Mark and Nick are in the over 50s, I said, well, Mark's getting close to 60. What happens then? And he's like, we have an over 60s class.
I always like all the memes that come out that show like world's strongest man in 2042, and Mark Felix is still there competing. And, I mean, I could see
against the likes of Jerry Pritchard's son and Eddie's son, and Mark is still there.
So looking young as ever.
So look, we have a pile of kegs now. Things are going up in weight.
Our scores for our men's under 80 classes on the board, and there we have it. Josh Kowalewski confirmed with 16 reps in first place. Dean McVie, 15 in second place. Robert Hughes with 12 in third, and a tie for fourth place between Danny Ashcroft and the defending champion Richard Penyangaman with 11 reps. Wow. And then a three-way tie with 10 reps by Benjamin Donnan, Nicholas Gagnon, and CJ Krause. These incredible performances to kickstart our men's under 80.
One thing I love about the Masters is they're just such a friendly group.
They are. They're here to have a great time.
You kind of walk around, and the lighter weight classes, they all look very serious. They're kind of, in the zone. You go and see the Masters, and they're chilled, and they're kind of just, feeling that their backs are hurting and their shoulders are hurting, but they're all friendly, and they're just happy to be here. Still happy to be lifting.
Yeah, I mean, you know as good as I do that walking the path of this sport is not an easy one to do, and it's often riddled with injuries. So
Absolutely.
to be able to operate effectively into the Masters divisions and do it with longevity, it is an impressive feat, and it's also one to just take a lot of enjoyment out of, for sure.
And of course, a few non-finishers at the end there. That's why they didn't get a result. I'm afraid we're unable to get it off of the line. As we move on to the men's under 80 kilogram category, and we're looking at what here, Gabe? What are the guys facing?
We have 290 kilos, or 290 pounds in each hand, 131.5 kilos in each hand. This is nearing that 300-pound mark, just so close, barely shy, for our men's under 80 kilo athletes. A full 50 kilograms heavier than their body weight in each hand.
So we have Gorvet, Willie, Dunlap, and Rivera. Or Dunlap, rather. Rivera in the next group. Just three men in the four lanes. As certainly right now, it's Willie who's doing all of the running from Scotland. Stephen Willie over the finish line and conquers that.
Gets it done.
Gets it done with ease.
Dunlap right there. Needs to hang on just a little bit longer.
Oh, did 2 laps, did Dunlap, as Gorvet comes towards the finish line.
He is right there. He just needs to hang on and get the job done. And he gets it.
Absolutely. Just has to cross, or should I say break the finish line. And there is a difference, breaking and crossing. Crossing being suggesting it has to be fully over. Oh, look at this here, a little replay. Official Strongman games. That's how we roll with our EVS replays. Stephen Willie there, 19.47 seconds. And
Stephen almost went down near there towards the end. You saw a forward teeter almost, and it was just, he hung on and really set a strong pace for all the athletes that are yet to come. But a lightning fast time, sub 20 seconds, 19.4 seconds from Stephen Wiley of Scotland. Heat number 2, we have Jean Rivera of the USA in lane 1, Joel Creighton Olsder of Australia in lane 2, Mads Evan Bjorheim of Norway in lane 3, and Rafael Paredes of USA in lane 4. Rivera moving fast with Paredes on lane 4, answering that call. Rivera accelerating, about to inch out Paredes.
Rivera, what a race!
Just nails it and gets the distance done, coming out first in this heat. Will it be fast enough to inch out the leader, Stephen Wiley?
Did Rivera get that one? Rivera versus Paredes? He did. What a finish.
And I tell you what, Colin, they did not start off that second return with Rivera in the lead. Paredes was in the lead, but Rivera accelerated, and he wound up coming out ahead at the very end. I love seeing that.
Well, if you're enjoying this feed, a huge shout out to ADL, who have ADL Live, who've been helping with our feed this weekend. And They are a truly magnificent streaming company and live action covering company. And they were actually here coming to watch the footage, the action, and stepped in to help the OSG coverage because of the hurricane. Certain things weren't turning up in time. And my goodness me, it's been an eye-opener just quite how professional and magnificent ADL Live are. So a huge thank you to them for helping with all of the cameras, all of the equipment. We couldn't be any more grateful. And that was a fan who was coming to watch. And thank you. A huge thank you. They were covering another event nearby and just happened to have an entire truck load of streaming gear.
They're just great people, Colin. I love them. Lots of love for ADL. And here we have our second heat. Let's see. John Rivera. Let's see, I have this wrong here. Forgive me.
Yes, indeed. Here we are. Cup, McNavich, Mercer, and Petroni over the line. My goodness, Petroni was quick there.
Wow. That might be a new leader.
I think it
If
probably
you
is.
blinked,
Yeah.
you might have missed it.
Well, it was Wiley on 1947 who was the previous leader. So we're up here, and there's that many different groups and heats. They do an incredible job, both graphics and organizers, getting all of these guys out here in the correct order at the correct time as Mercer trips over there. Oh, my goodness me, I think we could have a bit of an injury. Is it cramp?
Taking a knee for a second there. Well, he's walking, so it might have just been a spur of the moment sort of spring out of that with all the tension he has built in those hamstrings in the posterior chain. But when you see them getting up and walking off the arena, that leaves me optimistic and hopeful that nothing's
Indeed.
wrong.
Alec Petroni, 17:39. What
Wow.
a time. What a man.
Wow.
Very quick indeed. Under 80 kilograms, these men are lean and mean. When was the last time you were under 80 kilos, Gabe?
Oh, man. This is, I might have still been in grade school at that point. It's too far back, I tell you that.
Back when you could slip into those 28-inch jeans, eh? That never happened.
I don't think a leg would fit into that, man.
And just next to us, we'll have to bring in a second or two. But we're going to give a little love to him anyway because he's smiling. We have one of the absolute legends of the sport, the world's strongest man of 2019, Mr. Martins Lissus is just next to us. And let's just bring him in for a second. Why not? The Dragon. Gabe, I'm just going to hand over my headset.
The Dragon, Martins. Welcome, brother. It is good to see you here in Daytona.
Oh, good to be here.
How are you doing, my friend? Did you have any complications getting here in light of the storm?
No complications, but complications being here because there's nothing open. I had to eat Starbucks food for a bit there.
Oh, the Starbucks food is not the size that a world's strongest man needs to have in his diet. It's a little small.
Nor quality, man. It was horrible. Surviving off of Starbucks for a day and a half.
I feel for you, brother. I do. But we're here, and we got lots of food now.
Colin just got tired. He just wanted to step out.
We have heat number 4, just off to a blast. Daglish in lane 4 gets out-inched by Romansko.
Perfect
In
form.
lane
That
number 3.
slight lean forward.
Quinn Romansko, I got to see him operate at the OSG qualifier, the Southwest Regional in Houston, and he just finished a photo finish, just dominated
perfect,
there.
yeah.
It's showing here on his farmer walk capability. Will it be enough to out-inch Patron with 17.39 seconds on the finish? We'll have to wait and see.
And guys, a lot of these guys are great athletes. They move their feet fast. But if you don't have the grip strength, it doesn't matter. The grip strength is one of the most important strengths to have in this sport and in strength in general. Because if you don't have grip strength, that is your connection to the world. If you don't got it, doesn't matter how strong everything else is, it all falls apart.
Words of wisdom from the Dragon himself. Martins, how often do you train grip strength?
When I'm serious about it, I throw it at the end of every training session.
Is that the secret? The
Yeah.
end of every training session?
Because hands, they recover quick. They're small muscles. They heal quick. You need that neural connection. You need that practice, consistent tension on the little tendons of your fingers just so you could get used to that pressure in your hands and keep rehearsing it, practicing. You don't have to take it to failure. You need to do something very consistently.
I feel like the grip strength, the forearms, are very similar to the abdominal core in a way that you have to use it every day. Just from carrying yourself around, you have the ability to train every day. So overtraining it is a hard thing to do unless you're beating yourself up to a pulp, like you said.
Absolutely. And the thing is, it's like the strongest grip strength sometimes come from the strangest corners of the world. Like you'll have carpenters that come and do like grip competitions. They don't work out, but they're working all day with their hands. They have that mental connection with their hands. And then they could outgrip some of the biggest, strongest guys.
Mechanics as well.
Mechanics, absolutely. And rock climbers, too. They're phenomenal.
And they're not doing farmer's walk every single day, but they are, like you said, using wrenches, grabbing things, holding them tight, keeping that muscle strength fresh and frequently used. All right, we have heat number 5. In lane 1, Robert Youngerman of USA representing the Stars and Stripes. Lane 2, Sonny Nash of England. Lane 3, Joshua Dargis of USA. And lane 4, Cody Abel of USA.
Oh, we got 4 USA guys, 1 English dude. Let's see how they do.
Let us see right here.
Bunch of new faces out here, and this is one thing I absolutely love about OSG. It gives people a chance that haven't really quite been seen in the sport yet to have a spotlight shown on them and show us what they can do.
Especially earning their way here, too. And one of the coolest things is seeing all the flags represented here.
Yeah.
Nations from all around the world.
Like 30 different countries.
It's incredible.
And
an epic coming together in this culture of strength we also hold dearly to heart. All 4 men moving fast down the field. We got 1 drop in lane 2, but Abel in lane 4 is the first to clear the initial length.
Perfect, steady rhythm.
Youngerman in lane 1,
too much.
giving him a run for his money.
Oh, yeah.
But Abel accelerates.
He's diving. Yes, that was a perfect run. Just steady, not rushed. Stability goes a long way. Like, he wasn't the fastest off the line necessarily, but just kept consistent with his footwork.
Consistent footwork, and then his upper back was doing a real good job on bracing those arms, making sure he wasn't getting that wobble back and forth, allowing him to just glide and get the course finished quickly.
And I really like to think of farmers as a full body movement. Like, even though it's like your legs are moving the weight, the upper body is so important to have your upper back tense, your core tense, just to stabilize the weight. Because if you're loose in the core, you're loose in the upper back, that's when you get those like seesawing wobbles that will mess a lot of people up, as you can see.
And we see the athletes who, when they get to these heavy farmer's handles, it's the PR territory for them, the ones who do have that wobble because their body hasn't conditioned that way before. But then we also see the athletes who do this weight regularly, and they're looking so braced, so smooth and unfazed by the weight itself. But
yeah, just look like it wasn't even the fastest off the line, but when he got going,
look how level the handles are. Just textbook.
Yeah, it looks like the weight's floating.
He could have been, and the crazy thing is he could have been a little faster on that transition, but he did whatever he needed to finish off this course in the fashion that he did.
Perfect. And then the runoff and celebration. Epic
I love
finish.
it. I love it. All right, we have heat number 6, Lewis Blackwood of England, lane 1, Raz Manarez of USA, lane 2, Matthew Beauvois of France in lane 3, and Joni Rautanian of Finland in lane 4. Blackwood and Manarez first to clear the course, with Rautianen closely behind.
Oh, I think Yoni's got it.
Oh, that drop at the end is so costly.
Mr. Blackwood. Beautiful run. A lot of these times are going to be coming down to the second, I think, at the end from the top guys.
We've been noticing with the score so far, you'll have those top 3 placings all within fractions of a second of each other. And it's just, these guys have to dig deep to give their absolute best and not make these costly errors like dropping right at the finish line.
Oh, that grip is everything. You could see it. I could even tell in Ross right now that.
See, this is Matthew Beauvois.
Matthew Beauvois, okay.
Yeah, but he is giving it his all.
It's like I could tell he's a strong, absolute strong individual, but if you don't have the grip, it doesn't matter.
Lewis Blackwood with a time of 18.76. Lightning fast, but just barely falling short of beating Alec Patron's time of 17.39. We had 290 pounds in each hand for our men under 80 kilos. Martins, I know you and I are both strong and do weight in excess of this, but this is weight that is still getting close to our body weight.
It's a lot of weight for these guys. This is well over these guys' body weight as well.
These guys weigh in at under 175 pounds, and they're lifting 290 pounds with each hand. Just incredible.
Absolutely phenomenal. In each hand.
That's something. In lane 1, we have Jason Teitelbaum. Lane 2, Nathan Jones. Lane 3, Josh Harper. And lane 4, Tommy Lavelle, all USA athletes.
Oh, my
Tommy.
goodness. Tommy, look at him
showing
go.
his strength here.
Who could beat that? Steady, fast, it's got the grip.
He may have fallen
That
short on
is
the Viking
incredible.
press, but wow, just
He's making up some points.
lightning. Lightning.
It looked like nothing for him.
And almost just dancing off right there. This was his element. He was ready to rock
Josh
and roll.
still working through it. Come on, Josh. Just that grip failing, but he still finished it, and that's what counts, getting those points.
I know we don't have an
on the
official
board of
time
the
on
time.
Tommy, but that has got to be leader time right there. But we'll have to see, because Patron with 17.39 seconds, I mean, we're talking about sub 9 seconds each way. I think Tommy did it.
I think that was one of the fastest farmer runs I've ever seen.
290 in each hand moving that fast. It's just incredible to see. And it's one of those feats of strength.
Like a warm-up for him.
Yeah. He's. What do you think he's good for 50 feet max?
Oh man, that's the thing. It's like I'm curious because sometimes with the fastest guys, they might actually not have the strongest grip out there.
14.59 seconds, less than 7.5 seconds each way from Tommy Lavelle. Insane. I think he might be good for 350 a hand.
So did Tommy get beat?
No, Tommy beat out Patron. So he is our new leader.
Incredible.
14.5,
That
sub
is
15 seconds.
Moving fast. That'll give anybody a run for their money.
Even us.
Yeah.
Even
we
us.
need a little bit more weight
Yeah.
to weigh him down.
He looks very light on his feet, and what an impossible thing to seemingly do with such an immense load in each hand. Okay, our next heat steps onto the arena. We have Jacob Fisher of the USA in lane 1, Richard Stout, USA in lane 2, Brendan Eberly of Canada in lane 3, and Dylan Thompson, USA in lane number 4. All following that epic performance by Tommy Lavelle.
Very
Just
strong start on Richard.
Richard, a veteran. I mean, he's
got the pants,
He's
the
got-
striped pants.
You and I have seen those pants many times. I think he even wore them to Reno back in 2014.
Those are his lucky pants, and they're working smooth, beautiful.
Wow,
He's
Stout.
on the board with a good time.
Is it fast enough to beat Tommy? I don't know, but
I don't think so.
it's definitely
Just saying
top
it
3
right
worthy.
now, Tommy was out of this world.
How much do you want to bet Richard Stout's shorts wind up sitting in a frame in between contests?
They-
Maybe even a
He
shrine
sa-
of
he
sorts,
saves
right?
them.
There's a
He saves
power
them
that
for the
emanates from them.
special moments.
They are the shorts of power. Our Canadian athlete, Eberly, just giving it his all to get every bit of distance he can.
Come on, Eberly.
3, 2, 1.
Notice that Jacob Fisher gave up with plenty of time left, and sometimes that could be a strategic move. He could feel that his body was cramping up or getting fatigued, and he might want to save that effort for the deadlift to come.
And the sandbags to follow that, too.
Yeah. So it's like in these moments, of course, you want to give it all you've got. You also have to listen to your body and understand, and this is where experience comes in, understand when an event might take you out, and if you push it, that is, might take you out for the following events to come.
It could not be more correct, especially with vying for a spot at the final.
And it is a long day, guys.
A very long day.
12 hours, the 4 events compacted into one day.
Well, 12 hours is what they said at the beginning, but I would not be surprised if we go past that. I'm hoping we don't. But Here we have our 9th heat. Benjamin Donin of France in lane 1. Nicolas Gagnon of USA lane 2. CJ Kraus in lane 3. USA lane 4. Danny Ashcroft, England. CJ Kraus, one of my athletes that I coach, he is very confident with the farmer's walk. But Donin in lane number 1, giving him a run for his money. Quick transitions from both gentlemen.
Oh, it's between CJ and Benjamin Donin. Oh, Donin got it.
Both guys
Just Donin from France.
Both guys move fast, and CJ finishing with a lightning fast as well, but even when you finish behind even one person with lightning speed, it's still like, oh, that one guy still beat me, and he did it in the same heat.
I think Donin's going to be very fascinating to competitor to keep our eyes out on. He has, I think, around an 800-pound deadlift.
As does CJ Kraus.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. So both guys are
superhumans battling it out. This is a
both
good
guys
shot.
are going to be vying for that world
Fantastic.
record. I know CJ wants it, and I can imagine that Benjamin wants it as well. But I gotta respect and admire that type of pound for pound strength that these guys show. And Gagnon finishes the course in the nick of time.
That's good. It is very important to be able to at least finish the course, end up in the top third of athletes, so you're still in the run for the finals.
I'm wondering what Donin came out with there. Don't know if it was fast enough to beat Lavelle. That's a really, really hard mark to catch to, but you know, Tommy definitely has his
saying
strengths.
Right now, no one's beating Tommy Lavelle on the Farmers.
Well, we have the defending champion stepping out to the arena now. Our 10th and final heat in lane number 1. Here he is, Richard Pangangaban of USA. Lane 2, Robert Hughes, USA. Lane 3, Dean McVie of Scotland. And lane number 4, Josh Korluski of USA. Benjamin Donin close with a 15.96 finish. Still could not quite catch Mr. Lavelle.
Ooh.
A costly draw from Pangangaban in lane 1. McVie
That's
Scotland.
that stability I was talking about.
sprinting. Look at him.
He's moving fast, but he's losing that stability. Richard.
Dean got it done fast, but is it fast enough to beat Lavelle? Pangangaban was really, really fighting to hold on there.
These guys finished, all of them. That's a strong group.
They were the tried and tested, the leaders in the Viking press, leaving some top-tier finishes here. Gonna wait to get a time on Dean McVie there.
Well, I'm excited to see that time, too. I've instantly become a Tommy fan.
5.7 seconds from Dean McVie. Tommy Lavelle, our leader, winning the Farmers Walk event with
Tommy Lavelle. Let's go.
14.59 seconds.
Incredible.
Insane at 290 pounds in each hand. Wow, Martins, that lit a fire under me.
I'm shocked. I'm going to be dreaming about it. I'm going to be I'm going to be watching that video, trying to learn from him.
I think I need to get like a picture of Tommy and just kind of like adhere it to my Farmer's Walk handles and just have it just gawking at me every time I reach down to grab it.
It's got to run like Tommy. That's going to be a quote.
Staring me right in the face. You know, that was inspiring. There we have it. Tommy Lavelle in first place, 14.59 seconds. Dean McVie in second, 15.7. Benjamin Donin, 15.96 in third. CJ Kraus, 17.08 in fourth. And in fifth, Alec Petrone with 17.39 seconds. Very narrowly followed by Josh Korluski, 17.78 seconds. Three athletes all within the 17-second mark, with second and third in the 15-second mark. And Tommy, untouchable.
Just on a different level.
More than a full second ahead of Dean McVie. So as fast as all these guys were, Tommy, it is all Tommy right there.
Gosh, look up to that guy. Watch his videos. See what he does. Aspire to be like Tommy.
Be like Tommy, hashtag. All right. Up next, we have our men's over 50. All right. So our first heat, Lane number 1, Tim Sowers, USA. Lane 2, Tatu Karhu of Finland. Lane 3, Brian Strickland, USA. And lane number 4, Giles Sharp, Canada. Creighton Olser in lane 1, giving it his absolute best to try to power that weight up, but it is a high magnitude deadlift bar right there. You can see the hamstrings shaking. And Jones in lane 3 has already got his 3rd rep on the board.
One thing we saw with the women's is, I think because of the results of Farmers, normally if you're a good deadlifter, you're pretty good at Farmers. So we tend to see the best deadlifters come towards the end right now, going on reverse order of a Farmer's walk.
But there are, of course, exceptions to that assumption. You know, I think one of the best deadlifters in the world, Ronald Heinle, is an exception to that.
Well, grip strength is so important when it comes to Farmer's walk.
But it is true. All of the systems that you need for the Farmer's walk align very closely to what you need for a deadlift. Heat number 2, in lane 1, we have Kwansik Yoon of South Korea. Lane number 2, Tony McNavish of USA. Lane number 3, Jacob Fisher of USA. And lane number 4, Danny Ashcroft of England.
So great to see an athlete from South Korea competing. That's not something we see that often.
It's not. I love it. Martins and I were talking a lot about how much beauty it adds to this whole atmosphere of the sport that we already all love, to see so much unity worldwide coming together and uniting here in Daytona for the official Strongman Games. You know, athletes that you would normally not get a chance to socialize with other than through a screen are here competing alongside you.
All here for a common purpose.
Tony McNavish in lane 2 giving it his absolute all, but pulling seemingly a little bit lopsided.
Yeah, he's just maybe slightly off in terms of where his strapping should be.
You know, I will say that Tony McNavish had a pretty devastating knee injury late last year, possibly early this year, that requires surgery. So maybe there's some muscular imbalances still at play there, but he's walking fine off the field. He got 2 reps. This is some big weight. This is close to the triple body weight range for them, if not at it.
4 reps.
4 reps. Yeah, so let's leave that little footnote right there. Heat number 3, in lane 1, Jason Titelbaum of USA. Lane number 2, Finlay Mercer of Scotland. Lane 3, Brendan Everly of Canada. And lane number 4, Sonny Nash of England. Everly already locking out his 2nd rep, followed by Titelbaum, narrowly behind him, both at 3.
Both looking very powerful early on in this. Only 45 seconds, so no real strategies of waiting and kind of trying to hold your energy. You just got to get as many reps as you can done as quick as possible.
This is really a sprint. 45 seconds is not a long time. It benefits the athlete heavily to just keep that foot on the gas pedal and give it their absolute all.
Mercer working exceptionally hard there to get that 9th rep.
9, 9, 9, and 6 reps across the field. A 3-way tie with 9 here between Jason Titelbaum, Finlay Mercer, and Brendan Everly. Absolute power. A quick turnover to our next batch of athletes. Heat number 4, Joshua Dargis in lane 1, Nicholas Gagnon in lane 2, Bernard Gorvit in lane 3, and Mason Cupp in lane 4. All USA athletes.
Whistle goes. I'm not convinced we'll see any 9 reps in this heat.
No, this heat is moving a little bit slower than that last heat, but there is some good low gear power going on here in lane number 1 and 4.
Dargis and Cupp currently on 2 repetitions. Gagnon hits 1 and he's walking away. And Gorvet's still trying to get that 1st rep.
See Gagnon grabbing his hip there. There might be something going on, but he needs to hold himself together for one more event today. I know it's been a long day, but it's been a long day for everyone. The strongest man and the strongest woman will know how to endure such a long competitive endeavor like this.
And Cup managing to squeeze out a third rep there, takes the heat win, 3 repetitions. But that last heat, 3 athletes hitting 9 reps.
I love this method of getting the chalk off the field. You got the weed blower out here, just very quickly and expeditiously getting the job done.
And in this next heat, the man to watch is Joe Dalglish.
One of the world's strongest twins, yes? Yeah, he is a great deadlifter with levers just built for this type of event.
Yeah, perfectly built.
Mario
deadlifting.
Conejeros of Chile in lane 1, Josh Harper, USA lane 2, David Dunlap, USA lane 3, and of course, Joe Dalglish, ready to put some big reps on the board, representing England.
Look how long those arms are.
The Chilean, Conejeros, matching Dalglish for reps.
Very strong.
But Dalglish inches ahead.
A lot of people will watch Dalglish and kind of look at his form. They'll see that roundness in the back and think, that's not the way to deadlift. And for most people, it's not. But he still creates a lot of stiffness in that rounding, and his lower back stays arched and strong. Just one of those athletes.
Conejeros matches
7
him
reps
with
for
7
both.
reps in the nick of time.
And I'll tell you what, it shows you how impressive the previous heat was, where the 3 athletes hit 9 reps.
And there are current leaders, Teitelbaum, Mercer, and
Joint
Eberly.
tied with 9, 3 of them in the same heat.
We need to see someone with 10. We've seen 14 reps done in this amount of time and, by Alusi in the previous class of the Women's Open. It can be done.
Oh, it can, and it will be.
It will. We're going to see it prospectively challenged here.
Richard Panganaban, last year's winner, looking very solid in his early reps here. He's going fast. Technique looks solid.
Robert Hughes also looking strong.
Closest to us.
Panganaban is, this is his event.
And we just said we would see 10 reps, and here it is, 10 reps.
From the defending champion.
Starting his drive towards regaining that title. 12 reps.
He can get that 14.
Ooh,
lean back a
just
little
lost
farther.
balance. Not sure that he got that one. Says 13, but we will double check for you. 8 reps for Hughes as well.
Well, I think if Richard did not take that little falter backwards on that lockout, he might have been good for 14, but he is currently our leader with what unofficially is 13 reps on the board. We'll verify. Moving on to heat number 7. Cody Abel, USA in lane 1. Joni Rautiainen of Finland in lane 2. Rafael Paredes, USA lane 3. And Dylan Thompson, USA lane 4.
Very solid by all our lifters on that first rep. Dylan Thomas.
Rautiainen is looking like a machine, but starting to show the slightest sign of fatigue.
So Riante on 4, Dylan Thomas on 4. Thompson on 4. I should know that, he's my client. 5 reps for Thompson. 5 reps for Abel. Ratian hits 6. Thompson's on 6. This is a great battle between these 3 athletes. Abel digging deep for this 6th rep. Can he pull those hips through? Just out of time.
You know, he screamed at the judge, come on, but he was...
and Thompson both finishing on 6. Good, solid performances once again by both of those athletes.
Abel was just short of that last lockout, and I know he wanted it, but you know, even from the side profile, he did not get it, and he was not shy. I would not have given him the Duncan Man. I agree with the judge on that one.
Yeah, the judge got it right.
Tough
there.
call, but a necessary one. Heat number 8. Rivera, Monterey's, Wiley and Stout.
Stout looking powerful on these first early reps.
Richard is a good deadlifter. He's going to give Richard Panganaban Battle of the Richards. Panganaban versus Stout. Who is going to have more repetitions?
I think Panganaban is safe, but Richard looking very strong and all about scoring big points for Stout.
I'm seeing a lot of readjusting from Stout of his straps after every rep, and that's going to eat away
That's the
critical
thing.
seconds.
Yeah. He's got time for another. Maybe just the wrong choice of straps there. He's having to readjust every single rep.
A little
Sneaked
too
in that
loose.
9th rep.
Yeah, those straps are just a little too loose.
I think with some better straps, he would have done double figures.
I think so too. It's amazing how when you're chasing the double rep range, especially in 45 seconds, you have to make every fraction of a second work for you. If it's not working for you and you're wasting it, those are just advantages
Taking
for
2 or 3 seconds between each rep just to get those straps right.
You can have
That
two
is-
men of equal strength, and the one that has the right kit, the one that saves him those milliseconds, will come out on top.
Lane 2, Blackwood, quick out the blocks. He's on 3 repetitions.
We saw Blackwood have an astonishing time on his farmer's walk. And that's why he is on the second to last heat. Romasco looking like a smooth operator, cool and collected here on lane 1.
Romasco now hits his 6th repetition. Blackwood coming up for his 9th.
There is so much fatigue coming there from Blackwood. I don't think he's got a 10th rep in him.
Kalowiski is on 7 and Patron on 2.
Well, we got another athlete to add to that 9-rep
9
tie.
reps.
It's going to be a good split of points there. Our final heat, stepping onto the arena. Lane number 1, CJ Kraus. Lane number 2, Benjamin Donnan. Lane number 3, Dean McVie. And lane number 4, Tommy Lavelle. All 4 men placed so well on the Farmer's Walk. And I'm really looking forward to seeing my athlete, CJ Kraus, right here in lane 1. He has already lifted an unofficial deadlift world record in training. He just needs to do it in contest, and he wants that world record.
CJ is a phenomenal deadlifter.
Deadlift is his event.
He's got the Deadpool face paint. And he's looking very strong on these early reps. As is Donnan next to him, already on 5 repetitions. McVie going steadily on 5.
Lavelle not far behind, but he's having the same problem as Stout, having to readjust.
And so far it's Donnan in lane number 2 who is absolutely blistering through these reps. 11 reps so far. 12. He's closing in on that 13 rep target of Panganaban. Kraus needs to dig deep. He's on 8 reps.
He's wasting a lot of time down there, but it's got to be for a reason.
Donnan needs 1 more to take the lead for himself. Needs to go now. He's got to pull those hips through. Oh, he couldn't quite get it.
Wow.
13 reps though.
A tie for first between Panganaban and Donnan. Just
Didn't quite see what Lavelle finished on. Kraus finishing on 9. Another athlete for 9. He really wanted more than that.
He did, and he is capable of more. I got to speak with one of my other athletes who had gotten to talk to CJ, and he says there might be some knee issues going on. But even with knee issues, walking out of here with 9 reps, what is that, a 5-way tie with 9
I
reps?
think maybe more. There was a number of athletes hitting 9 reps.
At 550 pounds on this axle bar,
It's been a long day. The computer system is struggling as much as the athletes are now. There we go, our men's under 80 kilo class. Dean McVie, the Scottish powerhouse, on 113.5 points. Benjamin Donnan on 108.5. CJ Kraus still up there, performing exceptionally well, 102. Josh Kowalski on 101.5, then Tommy Lynn Lavelle on 98.5 points. Last year's champion, Richard Panganaban, still battling. He's on 97 points. Still lots to fight for, Gabe. You know, this competition is not over yet. Only 3 events down for the men. There's still lots to play for.
our first heat in our men under 80 kilo class, Richard Stout of the USA in lane 1, Dean McVie of Scotland in lane number 2. 700 pounds remains on the car.
Dean Dean McVie and Richard Stout. Our first two under 80 kilo athletes. And what weight have we gone to now? We're at 700 pounds still, the same weight that our women just used. And Colin Bryce is going to join us on the commentary team.
And they're off. Both men neck and neck. Stout barely inching ahead. No drops is going to be essential. Stout finishes barely ahead of McVie. USA versus Scotland, but both men quite a respectable time on this 700-pound car.
Well, McVie was the only man who managed to make it into the top 10 last year who wasn't American, and this year he's joined by a Frenchman who sits in third, Benjamin Donat. But again, it is very much dominated this class by the Americans. With currently up in the lead, you got Tommy Lavelle in second place overall, with Richard Pagnaban, also of the USA, up in first position with the Frenchman in third place at the moment, coming into this car walk category.
Richard Stout finishes with a time of 10.44 seconds. I think, Colin, we're going to see some sub-10-second runs here.
I think almost 100%, yeah. 317 kilos on the back as well. It's incredibly impressive.
We have in lane number 1, CJ Kraus, a.k.a. the Giant Slayer of USA, and Dylan Thompson, also North American, in lane number 2.
Almost exactly 4 times body weight.
CJ Kraus, one of my athletes, smirking at the camera right there. This is one of his favorite events. He means business, and he wants that sub-10-second time.
Up against Dylan Thompson of the USA. An all-American clash here. Thompson carrying a slight advantage on points coming into this. 10.44, the time to chase. Each man getting their own height, and they're just double-checking, making sure everyone's got the right height. A too low a pickup, and you'll be there picking it up all day long. Too high a pickup, and those wheels will bite the concrete, and you'll go down.
A fine line they have to walk, and a powerful walk it is going to be. They are off. CJ Kraus accelerating, barely inching ahead of Thompson. Very stable. Kraus gets the job done with power and precision, as does Thompson, but barely behind CJ.
Oh, was that quicker than 10.44? We'll find out in a second. Certainly was a solid pickup. Would you advise to have would you go on the low side, make sure you had clearance, or would you go on the high side and gamble on this kind of situation?
I would go a little bit lower than usual. Compared to a normal yoke, I would go a little bit usual. CJ Kraus, 10.63 seconds, barely in second place by fractions of a second. But yes, Colin, I would definitely go for a little bit lower. I would want to have that security, and with a bigger footprint on the vehicle and tires that don't spin, you cannot afford to risk having a single point of contact with the ground.
So just 1900ths behind the time of Richard Stout. Kraus slotting into second place. And the commentary team there of Gabriel Pena and Colin Space Cowboy Bryce. Interesting.
The Space Cowboy himself. What a trip down memory lane for you right there, huh?
Our graphics team just chuckling away over there. Thank you for that one.
All right, Quinn Ramasco in lane number 1 versus Robert Hughes in lane number 2. Another field of American athletes vying for that time to put them ahead of Richard Stout. Time to beat being 10.44 seconds.
So Aaron West gets them underway.
Ramasco inching ahead of Hughes. It is critical to not have any drops here.
Very fast.
Wow. Oh, an unfortunate drop by Hughes near the finish line, but still completes the course.
Oh, no, he
just
doesn't.
shy. There we go.
Bullies are over the line. Took him an extra couple of pickups, and he knows it was it's a big mistake, really, to make. And with so many men so tight, it could be very costly on points, that.
Quinn Ramasco, I never see him show too much emotion. He is always so cool and collected and operates smoothly. He lets his action do the talking for him. Very respectable. With a time of 12.19 seconds, So far, that seems like it's just about good enough for third, but we'll have to wait and see as the scores are completed. 2 heats remain.
Brian Shaw there working the car jack, doing a great job as ever. Oh, that tickles me. He's the winner of our Brian Shaw lookalike contest anyway.
I think we need to have an official one of those contests.
I don't think I'd do very well.
You wouldn't, but he certainly would.
He's got a good beard, yeah. I'm a bit hairless on the face, I'm afraid. So,
have you ever had a beard, Colin?
do you know what? I can't really grow one.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Maybe when I grow up one
Maybe
day.
when you grow up, whenever that day comes. All right, we are getting ready for our 4th heat. USA versus France. Josh Kowalewski will be in lane 1 and Benjamin Donin of France in lane number 2. 700 pounds in tow, vying for that top place finish over Richard Stout.
So Aaron West, our MC, is doing just the most extraordinary job as well as starter here. And we're underway then.
Donin accelerating fast. Look at that, sprinting just like Olga did.
Goodness
Quick
me.
time. I think we see a new leader there, Colin.
I think it's only just over 8 seconds, actually. Incredibly quick. Kowalewski finishes off in what looked pedestrian, but actually was probably pretty quick, probably quicker than the 12 seconds we saw by Quinn Ramasco in the previous heat. But we'll have to wait and see. Everything's unofficial from us at the moment, but I think we have seen the quickest so far anyway. And we are flying through these competitors. So just Tommy Lavelle.
Benjamin Donin, 8.33 seconds for a new event leader.
Indeed, yes.
Incredible.
Donin. Benjamin Donin, as he probably pronounces it.
I hope we're not butchering it. Here we have 2 athletes with the makings of a champion. The defending champion himself, Richard Panyangaban, and Tommy Lavelle standing to the right of the screen. Now, Tommy has proven himself to be quite a force to be reckoned with on moving events. We saw him blaze the Farmer's Walk yesterday, but we are also seeing a new fire lit under the defending champ, Panyangaban, there in lane number 2. Will it be enough to overcome Lavelle? We'll find out. This is going to be one to watch, people. I am certainly at the edge of my seat. Cannot wait to see 700 pounds move with blazing speed.
So our defending champion, Ricky Panyangaban,
is off first. Lavelle with the struggle, but Panyangaban goes down.
My goodness me, Lavelle was so slow in the pickup, but is this tortoise in the hare? No, it could yet be,
Wow.
no.
Even with those 2 drops from Richard, it may be close to a 10-second run. But the Frenchman will be the leader. Unofficially until we get confirmation.
His 8.33 certainly wasn't eclipsed there, and I think Tommy Lavelle's, well, he's got to be asking himself what happened there. And is there a little bit of an injury here? He crawls out of the car. What was the slow getaway there?
Panyangaban, 9.77 seconds. Good enough for second.
Indeed, yes. 2 drops and he still manages to go sub 10. That is extraordinary.
Incredible. That's determination and stubbornness right there.
Something tells me that Lavelle is suggesting that he wasn't quite ready, maybe hadn't squeezed in tight enough to start. And hey, that's
when that whistle blows, it blows.
It blows.
With
it's
or
part of the
without
game.
you.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're talking 10-second races, if you're not ready to start 100 meters, you're in trouble, aren't you? So
here we have our women's open scoring. Oh, well, let's see.
Came and gone. But here we go.
Our men's under 80.
So it's Benjamin Donin who takes the win here in the car walk with Richard Panyangaban last year and the defending champion on 9.7 seconds. A great time by Richard Stout, 10.44 made. So let's just have a quick look at the under 80 kilogram category. Overall points after 5 events, and right now up on 41, it is Benjamin Donin. It is the Frenchman on top of the pile with Richard Panyangaban, last year's world champion, 37.5. And
Ding McVie in 3rd place with 34 points, followed by Josh Kowalewski in 4th place by 31.5 points. And Tommy Lavelle, 30 points in 5th, with the rest of the athletes trailing narrowly behind. Anything can happen, but that lead after the car walk by Donin.
Ukrainian Lyashuk with Ineth just behind in third as we move straight on with no time wasted for our next category. I'm going to hand you on. I believe I'm going to hand you on to the 1,000-pound deadlifting legend of Gabriel Pena to join you, Mr. Charlie.
So we are indeed joined by the Texas Titan, the one and only Gabriel Pena.
It's good to be back. Wow, what a performance to just witness on that women's open class.
So we've got Robert Hughes and Dylan Thompson here. Our first pairing in the under 80 kilo class. We were getting pretty excited with that women's just then. Thompson.
Well, I tell you, Olga just finishing with that repeat after failing twice was incredible. But this series for our men's under 80 class, 120, 140, 160, and 180-pound circus dumbbells. In kilos, that's 54.5, 63.5, 72.5, and 81.5 kilograms, respectively. But we just saw Robert Hughes and Dylan Thompson, both of the USA. Up next in heat number 2, lane 1, you will see Tommy Lavelle and Quinn Romasco in lane number 2. Also,
Thompson did all 4 dumbbells. First athlete to go, and he got all 4 in 39.19. Amazing performance there.
What a pace setter. All right, Lavelle versus Romasco. This should be a good one.
Former champion.
Lavelle very quick. Tommy walking that fine line.
Getting that hand away.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that myself.
Romasco very cool and collected.
Oh, Tommy is making these look easy. 180 pounds, this final dumbbell. He's got it sat. Oh, gives himself a knock on the head there as well.
Yeah. A little bit of a bump tomorrow morning.
Romasco, good solid lift there with the 160.
Lavelle almost looking like a hawk circling his prey right there.
It's an interesting technique where he kind of rests it against the side of his head.
Lavelle and Romasco. I don't think either. Yeah, that's our time cap right there, but wow.
Dylan Thompson remains in the lead. 4 dumbbells in 39.14 seconds.
Lavelle was moving very fast and almost that being a little bit rushed. Maybe took a bit off of his top end there when it comes to that big 180-pound dumbbell at the end. Move on to heat 3. Josh Kowalewski of the USA in lane 1 and Dean McVie of Scotland in lane number 2.
Dean McVie, very powerful on that first dumbbell. Loves a pressing event, does Dean.
Both men moving rapidly down the ladder. A little too quick on lane 1.
And Dean is already on to this final dumbbell, 180 pounds. Gets it set. Dean McVie. Yes.
And Kowalewski finishes the series as well. But McVie, this is clearly his element at the circus dumbbell.
He loves the pressing events, he really does. We saw how good he was in the Viking press, and once again, when it comes to overhead, he's excelling right there.
And what an event to showcase your strength at. Such a massive, massive object to move with one arm. McVie, our new leader in this event, 23.24 seconds to clear the ladder. CJ Kraus and Richard Stout, both Americans, up next in heat number 4. The Giant Slayer versus the Shorts of Power. Stout looking precise, as does Kraus.
Yeah, it's close between these two. McVie, 4 dumbbells in 23.24 seconds. I think that's very safe for now.
Stout moves on to the 180. Kraus finding a bit of difficulty racking it to the shoulder. And Stout falls short. What a massive object to try to clear up with one arm. This is in excess of the body weight they had to weigh in under. And I think Kraus is just out of power. Richard Stout, the clock is ticking, and close. Both men giving it their absolute best, very clearly showing the signs of fatigue after all of these tests of their strength throughout the event. Dean McVie leading with 23.24 seconds to clear the ladder. We have one heat left. Our defending champion Richard Penyangaban of USA and Benjamin Donin of France with that lightning fast car walk.
Oh, it's just been performance after performance, hasn't it?
This is the official Strongman Games, Laws. The world's best coming together under this arena.
Donin's been so impressive. Panganaban, last year's champion, really pushing now. Look at these two go. This is efficient and effective.
Accurate.
Dumbbell pressing.
180.
Wow, who's going to get this?
Donin.
Donin gets it. What a time.
Penyangaban needs to move the arm.
Oh,
think
just
he gets
made a
it.
mistake there. Now he needs to compose himself. He was quick 3-3. That's a better position right now. Oh, he can't look out.
I think we're seeing some fatigue here, Laws.
Donin there was unbelievable.
Incredible.
I don't think you can go much faster than that.
He is so close, but there's just not enough power left to hold and lock out that dumbbell. But, oh my gosh, Benjamin Donin, just a blitz across the ladder with a astonishing 19.92 seconds, our event leader. You know, watching Benjamin Donin go through this series and all the other events evokes the same type of emotion and excitement as watching Jaco Schoenwinkel in the men's open.
Yeah.
Two men that are just clearly coming out of the darkness and
It's so
really
good to
attacking
see.
every
You know,
event.
this is what's great about official strongman. It's allowing us access from wherever we are in the world to prove what we're capable of. And we're seeing athletes now from so many different regions show that they are strong, show that they are capable of competing and winning at this level.
France is definitely going to be proud of their own Benjamin Donin right there. Woody versus Johns in this first heat of our men's masters over 50 class. Both USA athletes. All right, we are back in action at the official Strongman Games. Our men's under 80 class is ready to take charge of these Atlas stones. The platforms are set. Quinn Ramasco and Dylan Thompson of the USA running to start. 225, 250, 275, 300, 325, and a 350-pound stone await them.
A slight fumble on the left here by Ramasco. That triple extension has to be on point. These platforms are tall for these guys.
They absolutely are, and this is our lightest grouping of male competitors today. Possibly with that lightness of body is shortness of body too. They really have to work for that first and highest stone. Thompson onto the 325.
Onto that 350-pound stone, Thompson.
This is incredible right here. If he can get it, the clock is ticking on Dylan Thompson.
If he wants it, he's got to go now.
Staple
to the ground. Yeah. Get that last stone. There you go. Just in the nick of time. 350 pounds at the end of a 6-stone series. At the end of a competition, that is a big ask of these guys.
You know, Dylan Thompson did make those first 3 stones look quite good. He really he really launched it to the top there, and it moved quite well the whole way through. Quinn Ramasco, unfortunately, having a bit of trouble with that highest stone platform there. And moving on to our next heat will be Robert Hughes in lane 1 and Richard Stout in lane number 2. Both USA athletes. And let's look at this replay right here. Dylan Thompson attacking that 325. 150 pounds heavier than his own body weight. and getting it to that high platform with ease.
Absolutely
And I
impressive.
say with ease loosely because I'm sure it didn't feel easy for him, but from our perspective, he made it look really good.
Absolutely.
All right. Now both of our next competitors are out in the field, and this is the first time we see Richard Stout without his signature shorts of power. I bet it's because he doesn't want to get any tacky on those artifacts, those relics.
It's a piece of strongman history at this point.
But here we go. Robert Hughes, Richard Stout.
Strong stone for both of these gentlemen.
To a high platform
Right on to the
nonetheless.
second one. Strong triple extension.
Stout gets the fourth stone as Hughes attempts the 325.
Slips right out of his hands. Need to make sure that that tacky is ready to go when you move on to that stone. That's a heavy stone.
Here comes Richard Stout on the 325. He needs to move fast.
And it is
Hughes
there.
gets it. Stout fighting. And just a bit shy as Hughes laps the 350. Wow.
Good fight by both these gentlemen.
These are some heavy stones, and a 60-second clock is not that long when you have to average one stone every 10 seconds at these weights.
Absolutely not. And the height too. These are not to discredit these guys at all, but these are the smallest athletes in this competition on the male side. So they're going to be shorter. These platforms are high. That triple extension needs to be on point to get those first three stones into that hole and onto the heavier ones.
Now that triple extension Evan is alluding to is the motion of loading the stone onto the platform. The ankles extend, the knees extend, and the hips extend. All three joints moving, just like you see Stout there right of screen, doing so effortlessly almost with that second stone there.
Triple extension, big hips.
There it is, the ankles,
all
the
way
knees,
up.
the hips.
They need to be on point for these stones, especially with that height.
Look at Robert Hughes there. He just barely misses his first attempt on the 325. Just popping free, a little bit of a slip there with tacky. All right, we are getting ready for our next heat. CJ Kraus in lane 1 versus Tommy Lavelle in lane number 2. CJ Kraus, one of my athletes, I'm incredibly proud of him, but it all comes down to this moment. The Giant Slayer versus Lavelle. CJ Kraus, one of the strongest
first
deadlifters
stone.
in the world, putting that strength to the test. But Lavelle moves quickly onto his third
Lavelle is
stone.
one motion, blitzing these stones.
Fumble from Lavelle, getting perhaps a little too hasty.
Going for that one motion for that fourth
A
stone.
one motion 300 by Lavelle. Kraus onto the 300. Oh, just catching the
Just
lip of that
barely.
platform. 325 for Lavelle. 20 seconds left.
And
Lavelle
it's
gets
up.
it. The big 350. The clock is ticking. Lavelle needs to move if he wants it.
Getting the crowd into it.
10 seconds. There's no time for that, Tommy. Let's go. Needs to move
He needs
fast.
to go now.
No.
Oh, almost. Almost.
CJ Kraus getting, I believe, only 3 stones there. I know he is working through some knee issues he's been feeling through the contest. But Lavelle calling to the crowd for some support there while the clock ticks, perhaps giving himself a little too narrow of a window to get that 350.
You know as well as I do that the crowd has the power to give you all that adrenaline rush, all of that, but at the end of the day, it is focused on the speed. If you spend too much time catering to the crowd, you are going to lose points.
As much as you want to cater to that crowd, you are here to prove your strength You need to keep that composure and your wits about you and focus on the task at hand. But Mr. Lavelle, a showman at every turn, and he knows he is capable of that 350. We are too. If he just had 5 more seconds.
5 more seconds. It's all it would have took.
Our fourth heat, Josh Kowalewski of the USA in lane 1, and Dean McVie, Scottish Power, lane number 2. Dylan Thompson with 5 stones in 41.35 seconds, the mark to beat. If any athlete can get all 6, it will be an event lead and major points.
Will we see that 6 stone lifted in this heat? Both men looking very, very strong coming out of that pick. Onto the platform, 3rd stone, not a problem at all.
Neck and neck, Kowalewski and McVie. A bit of a fumble by Kowalewski. The stone comes down, but he gets out of the way of it. Dean McVie onto the 325. And just a bit shy.
Just missing it.
Kowalewski with the redemption shot. 15
Who wants it
seconds.
more? Who wants this win more?
Oh, just a couple slips by Kowalewski there. What an effort by these two strong, strong men. This leaves one more heat. Our defending champion, Richard Panganaban, USA lane 1, and Benjamin Donin of France, lane number 2. The defending champ and the Frenchman vying for that title. Donin has been phenomenal at every event and has an impressive lead over Panganaban. Plenty of cushion in points, but he still needs to have somewhat of a consistent stone load through at least 3 or 4 of these Atlas stones.
And if we're following his record throughout the competition, I'm pretty sure we're going to get that. And we are off to the first stone.
Now, a reminder, Panganaban is only half a point ahead of Dean McVie. If first place might seem out of his wheelhouse, he still has to fight for that second place finish. Donin moving on to his third, narrowly behind Panganaban. Lane 1 gets 4,
Donin.
and Donin
with
gets
an
4
amazing
as well.
recovery.
You don't see that too often.
No,
if you don't
do
clear
not.
it, it's really hard to push that thing up and over. Just a testament to Benjamin's strength. Both athletes. Panganaban gets it and onto the 350. He wants points.
He wants that last stone.
But the clock ticks and time will escape our defending champ. Although with 4 stones to the tower, I believe Benjamin Donin of France will secure his place atop the podium. We need official confirmation, of course. But wow, it really does all come down to this final event. It would be a fight between Panganaban and Dean McVie, but with that impressive 5-stone load by Panganaban, he may very well have pulled ahead of McVie enough. Here we have it. Benjamin Donin, our world's strongest man under 80 kilograms with 55 points. The defending champion sits with the silver trophy at 51.5 points in second place, and Dean McVie of Scotland filling the podium with 49 points. 5 points behind Dean is Tommy Lavelle in second, and Josh Kowalewski in 5th place. Now we have our men's masters 50-plus class.
The top 10 under 80 kilogram men in the world standing in front of us right now. The 10th place award goes to Quinn Ramasco from the United States. In 9th place, also from the USA, it's Richard Lights Out Stout. In 8th place, he's known as the Giant Killer from the United States, it's CJ Cross. In 7th place from the US of A, Robert Hughes. In 6th place from the United States, Dylan Thompson. 5th place from the US of A as well, Josh Kowalewski. In 4th place from the United States, Tommy Lovell. On to the podium now, taking the 3rd place trophy, representing Scotland, Dean McVie. In 2nd place, representing the United States, Richard Van Gatterman. And this year's world's strongest man under U80, representing France, Benjamin Donnen. All right, your 80 kilogram men. Staying in the order that we run, Masters 50s, come on out. Masters 50s men. Masters 50s.